Are you still wondering if you need to file a tax return? Here's an overview of South Carolina's individual income tax filing requirements to help you out. So, what is individual income tax? Here in South Carolina, we have a simplified income tax structure that follows the federal income tax laws. South Carolina accepts the adjustments, exemptions, and deductions allowed on your federal tax return with a few modifications. To determine whether you need to file an individual income tax return in South Carolina, one of the first questions you need to answer is whether or not you're a South Carolina resident. Residents intend to maintain South Carolina as their permanent home and keep South Carolina as the center of their financial, social, and family life. When they're away, they intend to return back. Non-residents have a permanent home outside of South Carolina, and none of the other resident criteria applies to them. Okay, so now that you've determined your residency status, do you need to file a South Carolina return? If you're an SC resident and you're required to file a federal return, you're generally required to file a South Carolina return too. If you are not a resident or are only a resident for part of the year, you are generally required to file if you work in South Carolina or are receiving income in South Carolina. If you're not a resident, your filing software or online program should ask you your residency status and walk you through the information to include as a non-resident when you file. Part-year South Carolina residents can choose the most beneficial filing method. One option is to file as a full-year resident, include all of your federal taxable income, and claim a credit for income tax paid to another state. Another option is to use the non-resident schedule and include only your South Carolina taxable income. When you're ready, file your South Carolina tax return electronically with a professional tax preparer or by using available commercial software or online applications. You can also file a paper return by using an SC-1040 and attaching all applicable schedules and tax credit forms. However, filing by paper increases your chances of errors and takes longer for us to process, which could delay any refund you may receive. Filing online is the fastest and easiest way to complete your return, whether you do it on your own or use a tax preparer.
Another perk of filing online? If you file and pay electronically by May 1st, you will not be subject to penalties or interest.
Keep in mind, the May 1st deadline does not apply to your federal income tax return or returns filed by paper. You can visit our website to learn more about all of your filing options. If you have an individual income tax bill, we recommend you pay on My Doorway at dor.sc.gov/pay using a debit card, credit card, or your bank account. If you file by paper, you can pay electronically by including your banking information on the SC-1040. No matter how you file, you can also mail a check, but we recommend paying electronically. If you need help with your bill, you may be able to request a payment plan agreement. Visit dor.sc.gov/payplan for more information. Expecting a refund? Be sure to choose direct deposit, or tell your tax preparer that you want direct deposit when filing your return. It's the fastest, easiest, and most secure way to receive your refund. You can also receive your refund through a paper check, which is the best option if you don't have a bank account. If you need more time to file, you can request a 6-month filing extension by paying your balance due online using My Doorway by the return due date. Your payment on My Doorway automatically submits your filing extension request, so no additional form or paperwork is required. You can also mail a completed SC-4868, a request for extension of time to file, with your payment to the address on the form. Your SC-4868 must be postmarked by the return due date and only extends the time to file your return, not the time to pay any balance you owe. Keep in mind, if you file an extension for your federal return and do not have a balance due for South Carolina, you don't need to file a separate South Carolina extension. When you file your South Carolina return, be sure to indicate that you filed an extension. Find more in-depth filing tips and learn more about SC individual income tax at dor.sc.gov/IIT. Be sure to check out the FAQ page to find answers to all of your questions, and stay connected with the SCDOR on social media as we post more tips throughout tax season.